What's up, Samurai? We are back with more, and today we're going to be doing the Knight's video. Yes, that's right, the Knight and the Leviathan. Now, I want to let you guys know that I do not have my Knight completely maxed out by any means. I'm rocking some pretty decent gear. Unfortunately, I don't have a good C4 ring, so I'm using my Shadowhunter's ring. I have a C4 phase, attack speed, movement speed. I have a C3 weapon, attack speed, movement speed, and then I have a C3 hat, attack speed, movement speed, because the only other C4 hat I have set up for my Shadowhunter, and so it doesn't have attack speed on it, obviously. And then, you know, we're using the Permatorch for the physical damage and so on and so forth. For the time being, I'm going to be using Death-Defying Martial Emblem, and probably just going to use like one of the eyeballs here, just the physical damage one, because we don't really get much of a benefit by having Chronomatic or anything like that, because as it stands right now, the Knight's most offensive move is literally just left clicking. The Knight is kind of in a very strange place right now, but he's got a decent amount of movement speed, as you can see. You know, at base, we're doing 133, which is over mount movement speed. And then we're also going to be using the Solarian subclass ability, because obviously it gives us the light value, as well as the passive burn effect, which, I mean, whatever. And then the ally, if I didn't already mention, is going to be Scorpius, just because that's pretty much the best one for most physical characters. You know, there is other ones that are the star chart and whatever else. Now, the thing is, with this showcase as well, I have my star chart set up for physical characters. That's why you guys might notice that the magical characters are going to be a little bit lacking in comparison. But now it's time for the most difficult part of my job with these videos, which is not only finding a Leviathan, but trying to find one that others are not already fighting. Unfortunately, it does look like this guy's already fighting it. Hopefully we'll just go in there and see really bad damage numbers so I can just kind of take over. But otherwise, I have to try and find another one. The reason why it's so frustrating for me off camera doing this is because if, oh, he's inviting people, is because if I don't end up finding the Leviathan before everybody else does, I have to wait like 5 to 10 minutes for a new world to be created, just server side. That's just kind of how the game works. And then, and only then, will I have another chance to try and find the Leviathan. It looks like these guys aren't attacking it though, so we might be good. I can probably just start attacking it immediately, because unfortunately these are they're starting to invite other people. So I'm just gonna go for it and we'll just hope and see what happens. So obviously, you know, trying to use our base attack for the majority of everything, because while our number one does cause a decent amount of damage, it isn't going to be where all of our damage is. The right click, if I recall, does give us a slight damage boost. You can see, despite the fact that these guys are here, I'm pretty confident I'm doing the majority of all of this. And again, I don't have like completely maxed out stats or anything, but you'll notice that as soon as I start doing my number one, it's just not as efficient as just mashing my left click. You can see the damage is just astronomically higher. I'm trying to avoid his secondary spin. So looking at the damage from other people, you'll notice that they're not actually lowering the percentage of this guy. It's most of all when I start doing it, that's when his health starts to really drain. You'll see he's staying at 58%. So thankfully for this showcase, these guys aren't really doing that much damage. I'm pretty much carrying, and I mean no disrespect to those of you that are here in case you're actually watching this video or anything like that. It's just quite literally, I'm letting you guys know, you the viewers know, that this is a pretty decent showcase for the Knight. And as you can see, Knight, a boss killer, he is not. Generally speaking, Knight is kind of one of the weirder all-around characters. I do not have, again, I don't have good crystal rings on him, which is unfortunate because the crystal rings can make a little bit of a difference. For the most part, though, I don't think that I've heard most people say that they're going to end up using the Knight. The Knight is pretty good in delves, and he's also not bad for like speed farming and stuff. I'd say he's kind of in a place right now where he's a very, very lazy character, just because this is his gameplay. This is the Knight at his maximum capacity, and it's not super great. It's not super fun. Is kind of the main thing about it. But anyways, Knight mains can sound off in the comments, and you know, let others know anything that I may or may not have spoken about today. Let's see if we end up getting lucky enough for a Permatorch. No, fragile Permatorch. Okay. And then, yeah, that's basically going to end up doing it for this showcase, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you know what else? I completely forgot to put the food on. I'm sorry about that, guys. So yeah, we would have had a little bit more damage there. Obviously, if I had full on maxed out C4 gear and all of my slots, we would have an extra amount of light. I do want to show you guys very quickly, my gems are basically just the same gems that I have on my Shadow Hunter, because those are my physical gems that I swap between characters. My Knight class gem, though, you can see is not ideal. Do I have it maxed out? Maybe I actually worked on this. Oh yeah, I do have it at 100%. Obviously the gem slots or boosts or whatever are not ideal, but hey, whatever, beggars can't be choosers, and I don't really main the Knight, so that's not really that big of a deal to me. However, it is still not a crystal gem. Now, it being a crystal gem would obviously make a pretty big impact for the raw physical damage that we have on this guy. So I'm just trying to say with this video that there is a higher potential with this character than was shown in this showcase. But in comparison to some of the other physical characters that we've already seen in this showcase, namely Boomeranger, where I kind of equally didn't have him built up properly, and he was still devastating and just annihilated the Leviathan, spoiler warning, versus the Knight, who is tanky, has a lot of survivability, but is just overall not in a good place right now. Just in my own personal experience with this character, I feel like where he's at right now is very boring. I think that he's a character that desperately needs a rework, because what reworks do for a lot of the characters is make it so that all of their abilities synergize with one another, so that you try to use all the abilities, or at least are encouraged to use all the abilities, versus the Knight, who kind of feels old school in that there is one specific setup with him that is the most offensive in terms of his damage, and there's not really any reason to use any of his other abilities. But anyways, with all of that said, I appreciate you watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen.